All right, so we're going to move on to the next couple learning targets in Unit 4, which are going to deal with fungi, learning targets 6 through 8. So they are eukaryotic heterotrophs, which you should know what both of those terms mean, but they also have cell walls. And these cell walls are going to be composed of chitin, and they either serve as decomposers or parasites in their ecosystem. Structure and function. So all fungi, with the exception of yeast, are composed of thin filaments called hyphae. And a mycelium is a bundle of these hyphae joined together. Myceliums are well suited for water and food absorption because of the large surface area. So in an individual little uh, extension of this white, looks like spider web type thing, is a hyphae, and all of it together is a mycelium. And these will spread out over large areas to absorb water and other nutrients that the fungi will need. So the fruiting body, this is a portion of the fungus that we typically see. From the best example of this is the mushroom cap, or the actual mushroom on top of the ground. We tend to think of that as the entire fungus, when actually that's a very small part. Most of the fungus is going to be found underground. And then, like as it says here on the slide, some of the mycelium can expand over entire fields. So it's not uncommon, if you have a lot of mushrooms, say, in your front yard, that it's all part of the same fungal body. All right, so the fungus life cycle, fungi reproduce both sexually and asexually. So you'll see there they have asexual reproduction, which is going to have spores, and then they'll also go into sexual reproduction with the production of gametes. Asexual reproduction, this occurs when the hyphae go through mitosis. Fungi also produce spores, which are capable of growing into full organisms through mitosis as well. The asexual phase of the fungus life is in the haploid state. And in fungi, they're not male and female, but rather plus and minus. So sexual reproduction occurs when a positive or a plus and a minus fuse, creating a diploid zygote. And that diploid zygote then undergoes meiosis, which is the production of gametes. Those gametes are going to produce spores, which will then grow into mature hyphae and begin the life cycle all over again. So classification of fungi. We classify fungi normally based off their reproductive structures, and then there's one class that does not have those. And so there's four major phylum or classifications of fungi. First one is zygomycota, and the sexual structure is a zygosporangium. And there's some examples of this, but the most common example is black bread mold, or the mold you see right here that forms on strawberries if they're in the refrigerator too long unused. Then you have the ascomycota, and the sexual structure is the ascus, which means sac. And these are found on large ascocarp mycelium. And spores are small and dust-like structures called conidia. And some examples are lichens, plant pathogens, and yeast. Next, so the third one is basidiomycota, and the sexual structure is a basidium, which means club. The basidiums are found on large basidiocarp mycelium, and these fungi are very important decomposers in their ecosystem, which means they break down plant cell walls specifically. Some examples are the mushrooms that we eat for food, fairy rings, death caps, toadstools, and puffballs. The last is the deuteriomycota, and these are imperfect fungi, meaning that they do not have a means or no known means of sexual reproduction. And the best example of this, and probably one of the most important fungi, is the penicillium, or the green bread mold. So some ecological impacts of fungi. They are important decomposers, which we've already talked about. Some of them are plant pathogens, like the Dutch elm disease, which can get into trees and have a major impact on those and other plants. Some are animal and human pathogens, like ringworm and athlete's foot. And some fungi are used as medicines and are good for that process. Um, and medicines and food. I should say food, not good. Sorry. good medicines, food. Penicillin is the best example of a fungi that is used as medicine. And then that's a nice little picture to kind of wrap things off here and leave you with that. So if you have questions, uh, be sure you let me know. Finish the video form that goes with this, and we will continue on tomorrow. Thank you.